Recorded Books and RB Digital present The Fate of Rome by Kyle Harper. Narrated by Andrew Garman. A quote from East Coker by T.S. Eliot. In my beginning is my end. In succession, houses rise and fall, crumble, are extended, are removed, destroyed, restored, or in their place is an open field or a factory or a bypass. Old stone to new building, old timber to new fires, old fires to ashes, and ashes to the earth, which is already flesh, fur, and feces, bone of man and beast, cornstalk and leaf. Prologue. Nature's Triumph. Sometime early in the year AD 400, the emperor and his consul arrived in Rome. No one alive could remember a time when the emperors actually resided in the ancient capital. For over a century, the rulers of the empire had passed their days in towns closer to the northern frontier, where the legions held the line between, as the Romans thought of it, civilization and barbarism. By now, an official imperial visit to the capital counted as a pretext for magnificent fanfare. For even without the emperors, Rome and its people remained potent symbols of the empire. Some 700,000 souls still called the city their home. They enjoyed all the amenities of a classical town on an imperial scale. A proud inventory from the 4th century claimed that Rome had 28 libraries, 19 aqueducts, 2 circuses, 37 gates, 423 neighborhoods, 46,602 apartment blocks, 1,790 great houses, 290 granaries, 856 baths, 1,352 cisterns, 254 bakeries, 46 brothels, and 144 public latrines. It was, by any measure, an extraordinary place. The arrival of an emperor on the scene set in motion a sequence of carefully staged civic rituals designed to assure the city of its preeminence within the empire and, at the same time, to assure the empire of its preeminence among all the principalities of the world. The people, as the proud stewards of the imperial tradition, were keen judges of this kind of ceremony. Rome, they were pleased to be reminded, was a city greater than any the air encompasses on the earth, whose grandeur no eye can behold, whose charms no mind can measure. A grand imperial procession coiled its way to the Forum. Here was where Cato and Gracchus, Cicero and Caesar had made their political fortunes. The ghosts of history were welcome companions as the crowd gathered on this day to hear a speech of praise honoring the consul, Stilicho. Stilicho was a towering figure, a generalissimo at the zenith of his power. His imposing presence was affirmation that peace and order had returned to the empire. The show of confidence was reassuring. Just a generation before, in AD 378, at Adrianople, the legions of Rome suffered the worst defeat in their proud history. Ever since, the world had seemed to wobble on its axis. Goths entered the empire en masse and were an inscrutable mix of ally and enemy. The death of Emperor Theodosius I in AD 395 revealed that the eastern and western halves of the empire had grown apart, as silently and consequentially as the drift of continents. Internal strife had menaced the African provinces and threatened the food supply. But for the moment, the consul had calmed these rough waters. He had restored the equipoise of the world. The poet who spoke in the consul's honor was named Claudian. An Egyptian by birth, whose native tongue was Greek, Claudian made himself one of the last true giants of classical
Sample complete. Ready to continue?